Hi, Rod Kane, Washington Grand Company. I'm here once again to talk to you about my favorite ancient medieval game, Triumph. And today I want to talk about something a little bit generic to miniature wargaming in general. I want to talk about scale. And when I say scale, I don't mean the scale of figures because we've kind of already discussed that you can play with any size figures that you want. I want to talk about the scale of the battle. So, what exactly does this force represent? A lot of miniature games will specifically say in the rules um, that one figure equals 20, or one figure equals 50 or 100 actual soldiers to try and give you an idea of how big is this group of men that are standing in front of you on miniature. And Triumph specifically doesn't do that. There is no scale per se of figure to man ratio. And the reason is that um, you can scale it up or down or zoom in and out to whatever level you like. So it's designed to be a fast play, simple medieval ancients battle that gives you really good results, or fun results, I think, and also historical results. But this Athenian army I have in front of you represents 48 points of Athenian hoplites. So I've got some skirmishers, I've got some light, and then mostly hoplites. But this could be the entire army if I wanted to represent the Battle of Marathon, or this could be a much smaller skirmish between the city of Athens and another Greek city. But what happens is these stands represent the percentage of the army that I have like control over. So if I want to zoom in on the battlefield more, I can add more stands, add more points to the army, and have more control. So, for example, I could bring in another double line of hoplites. I could bring in a second army, and I could create a 96 point force that I could field. But the difference between these armies is really just my level of control over the individual stands. So as I bring in more troops and I increase the size of the army, all I'm really doing is increasing the number of maneuver elements that I have. So think of it as I'm zooming in on the battlefield. If I don't have that many troops to play with, I have a smaller collection, I can still do the Battle of Marathon. I can bring in the Persian forces, and these are my in-process Persian forces for the Battle of Marathon. So I'll bring in the Persian forces, and basically I can fight that battle. But all this changes is how many maneuver elements I have. So if I triple size this battle, some of you may have watched the recent video that I did of the Battle of Hattin, for example, where I had two 144 point armies on the table. And that game took approximately 3.5 hours. This is two 48 point forces, let's say, and this game takes approximately an hour, and it's meant to be played by two people. Two people could play the much larger battle over a longer period of time, but the real difference is just that you have more detail and that you're zooming in where each one of these stands is 2 or 3 stands instead of 1 stand, thus giving you more micro control over the actual movement of the units, but it doesn't change the outcome of the battle. If you're playing a large classical battle, you could have armies that represented 100,000, 200,000, some of the ridiculous claims, 3, even more, thousands and thousands of men in these large classical battles between empires. If you're playing a battle in the Dark Ages, Saxon Shield Wall battle versus Viking invaders, the armies might have only been 3,000 men or less, even 1,000. So it's still the same game. It's still the same rules. You'll still have the same tactical feel for maneuvering your stands. But the scale of the battle is dependent upon your figure collection. Smaller figure collection, play with 48 point armies. Larger figure collection, triple, quadruple, even 5 times this many troops on the board. It's all doable within Triumph. Same rules, same system, same good time. As you put more figures on, of course, the battles will take longer, but you'll still find that you can play out a relatively large battle in a reasonable afternoon time period, which is why I really enjoy this system. But I wanted to explain this because this is why Triumph doesn't have a scale, a set figure scale. How many men does this figure represent? It's whatever you decide it is. So, once again, my name is Rod Kane. The game's called Triumph. Thanks for watching the videos, and I hope you're enjoying them. You keep watching, and I'll keep making more.